This is a quick tutorial on how to you can change the color of an object. You can use the color to actually make a selection. Alright, so but first I'm gonna do one quick thing. Since this object is pretty much okay, I grabbed this off of REI's website and just to use that as an example later, but this one is it's very simple. I can take this object and I can go to, what is it, adjustments, hue and saturation, and let's bring this over, and I can change the color of this shoe just by dragging this left and right. Okay, okay. The reason, I don't know if you can, if you pay attention to this white area, notice the color cast is changing ever so slightly. Okay, but you can get away with this on something like this because again there's color and then there's black and white. But if you try that on, I just hit cancel, but if you try that on something like this, adjust image adjustments, hue saturation, you can't get away with it because see, you have the yellow jacket. I'm changing the color of her jacket to blue, but notice the color of her face is changing. Her face is changing red too, so you can't get away with it with this. But I'm going to show you on the shoe just because I like the shoe. It's nice and simple. So it should be a lot easier to work with than something, you know, with lots of, you know, the intricacies of this jacket here. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to go under, if I can remember where it's at, I need color range, and I can selection. Okay, here we go, under selection, color range. All right, and I'm going to drag this in here. It kind of popped up off screen. It's kind of tight. All right, so what I'm going to do here is, you can see I have these little eyedroppers, and I'm going to click in this blue area. And you can see it's selected this area here. The area that it's, the tones that it's selecting are turning white. But each time I click in a different part of this blue, that actually got a good portion of it. But it keeps changing because I'm selecting different portions of it. So I'm going to go back here where it selects a lot. And then I can hit plus, and it's going to build onto that selection, adding color, different, you know, these different shades of blue. Okay, but one problem I have, say if I slip, I hit the white area, so now I got all this white area, so I can hit the minus key, and then you can see the more I click in this white area, selecting, because again these it's hard to see here, but these are actually, a lot of these are different tonal areas, so by selecting here it's removing those, and then I can go back to the plus and I can actually click and drag rather than clicking and clicking and clicking. I can just click and drag over this area, so now I have a pretty clean selection of this area. Alright, now once I'm done with that, and again I can adjust the fuzziness, and you can see it expands to include everything, or it's very tight. Alright, I'm just going to add just a little bit of fuzziness here so it doesn't expand too far. And then I hit OK. And you can see it's selected these areas. I didn't catch all of these areas. That's what these little bits and you know, little specks are. So these are areas that I missed, but you probably won't see them. But another way I can fix that is, say I can go over here to the lasso tool, and I want to subtract that area. No, actually I want to add to this area. So I'm just going to click on the lasso tool and add to this area. So I'm just going to draw around these little scraggly bits, and then I'll let go, and you can see it's adding them to the selection. Again, these bits are so tiny that you probably wouldn't be able to see them, but I'm just making sure that I get them clean. But I could, otherwise, other than this, I could have spent more time with the eyedropper tool getting them just right. Okay, so now I'm let's go in here, happy with this selection here. And I'll just grab that little bit. Okay, so now I'll make sure I don't have any little bits of color in here. Okay, yeah, get that one last one. All right, so now from here, this is my selection. So now if I go to hue and saturation, okay, so I go to adjustments, hue and saturation. When I make these changes, you notice the shoe is changing colors, but it's not, this area out here is no longer being affected. So it's not, these subtle changes aren't happening out here, which is nice. Down here, I don't know if you notice, like if I slide towards the red, okay, it's on red here, but also down here you can see it's changing the, this is sort of like the standard chart, and this is actually what's changing this thing here. It's moving along. Okay, so as you can see, the red, okay, so I can change the shoe here and not make any, it'll make these changes quite nicely. One thing is, this is destructive. You know, if I hit, I'm gonna hit deselect here. If I hit save on here, these pixels are changed forever. So I want to do this non-destructively. I can show you a quick way to do that. But first I'm going to zoom in just so you can see what happened. These little bits that I missed, that's what these little blue specks are, these little pixels that I missed. But you know, when you zoomed out, you really can't tell. But if this was something very specific, I might take a little bit more time and zoom in and catch all those little bits if if this was something really important. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back out. All right, so another way, okay, I'm going to go back to, I'm going to go to history panel, and I'm going to go back to my selection. All right, another way, let me say deselect, and let's see, select. I can go up here to select and hit reselect as well. Okay, so the last selection I can hit reselect. And what I'm going to do, if I want to change this, I'm going to hit Command J, and that's going to duplicate this layer. You see over here in the layers panel, it duplicated the selection area. So now I have this shoe, the top part of the shoe. So if I turn this background layer off, you can see I have the top shoe here. So now if I go just to this layer, I go to I go to image adjustments, hue and saturation, and now I can change the color of that shoe. Okay, and now I can just turn this on and off. You know, so you know, like when you look at a website and you'll see these catalogs, like here for instance, when you see this person in a different jacket and it looked like it's the same photo, it is the same photo. They just edited the colors, so you have your red shoe, your green shoe. If I want to duplicate this layer here, duplicate the layer. Okay, it's off the screen, but I just hit duplicate. Okay, now edit, adjustments, image adjustments, hue and saturation. I'll make this a blue shoe. Let's see if I can find blue. Here we go, hang on. Okay, there we go. That's the color I'm looking for. And then I just hit OK. All right. So now I have blue, green, and red. All right. So now I'm going to go back to here and show you the difference. I'm going to go to Edit. Oh, and hang on. Select Color Range, and I'm gonna click on the eyedropper, and I'm gonna click in this yellow. You can see it picked up a little of this yellow here. I'm just gonna click and drag. Whoops, hang on, mistake. I'm on just the regular selection. I want to go to the I want to go to this plus, so it will add to the selection. It will build on the selection. I can just drag across this area here. If you notice, I'm avoiding the black areas, okay? But I need to get these shadows, and that's kind of dark, but I'm just going to get in here a little. I'm not going to go too dark. I need to move this over, and I need to pick some of this up, okay? And again, I'm going to avoid these really truly black areas. All right, so I'm selecting all of these bits and tones of yellow and the shadow. And again, this is a much more difficult selection to make than the other one. But if you notice, I'm starting to pick up color in her face. So I'm just going to hit OK. And you can see it selected the jacket nicely, didn't pick up the black here, but it's picked up areas in her face. So all I have to do is, again, use the lasso tool, which is I was already selected, make sure I hit subtract from selection, and I just draw a selection, you know, right here over her face, and it removes that selection from her skin. Actually, and it looks like I missed a little bit here. I'm gonna hit, oh hang on, I need to go up here to add to selection, and you can see the little plus sign next to the lasso, and I select that, and I don't see any other areas that I need to change. Well, maybe I'll catch that little bit there. Okay, so now I can zoom out. Okay, and again, I want to do this non-destructively. I can just change the color of the pixels here, but I'm just going to hit Command J, and I'll duplicate that layer. Actually, I'm going to duplicate that layer a couple of times. All right, so I'm going to label this one red. I'll double click and green. Enter. Double click. Blue. Enter. All right, so I'm going to select. I'm going to turn these off. I just click and drag to turn those off, and on the little eye there. And I'm going to click on the blue layer. Edit. Image. Adjustments. Hue and saturation. And what did I say? This one is blue. All right, so I'm just going to drag it this way. Okay. And if you notice, right here it says I'm on red, but it's changed that color. But you can see here it's red. You know where I started. It started off as yellow, but that's the top is sort of like the chart, the unmoving chart, and then it dragged where it moved everything over. This bottom is where you're finding what's happening. So again, it changed yellow to blue. Yellow to blue. So if I move this other way, I'm going to move it to, let's say, red. Now you see it was yellow to red, with sort of a reddish purple, you can see. Okay, so I'm going to put this back because I labeled this blue. Move this back over, and you can see the blue at the bottom, very bottom, is sliding over to the yellow. Okay, that's a nice blue right there. All right, I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to click on green. Well, actually, I'm just going to turn green on. Green, again, it's yellow, as you can see here in the layers panel. And I'm going to go to Edit, Image Adjustments. Sorry about that. Hue and saturation. And I want to change this yellow to green. And you can see from here, green is to the left. So I'm going to just drag to the left. Oh, hang on. Is it going to make it? No, it didn't quite make it. If you look down here at the bottom, well, actually, I'm saying, I apologize. I've been talking about this, but this has been off the screen the whole time. So what I was talking about down here at the very bottom, there's these this little area right here, and this is sort of stagnant. It doesn't move, and this bar moves. So as you can see, if I'm up here, I want to change this. It's kind of purpley right here, and I'm going to drag. Well, actually, it started yellow, and then you'd see it's purpley down here. So this is yellow, and this is purple, and I'm going to, in order to get to green, I have to push this over here. So I'm going to go to the right. Hang on, wrong. It's going wrong. There we go. It crossed over. It's coming back. And then I hit, hang on, green. Okay. And again, if this is too bright, I can drop the saturation down, make it a nicer color. Okay. I can brighten it up, lighter, darker, you know. Okay, but I'm just going to leave that lightness. That looked fine. But the saturation really helps because, again, it's too intense. So I'm going to drop that saturation of color down. All right, so that looks good. I'll hit OK. And then I have this one I need to make red. So I'm going to click on the eye, turn it on, and you're going to see a yellow jacket again. And now I want to go up to hue, saturation, image, adjustments, hue and saturation. And I want to make this yellow. What did I say this is? This is red. All right, so actually yellow and red are pretty close, so I shouldn't have to go far. Okay, here we go. So there we go. That looks good. Very intense, so I'm going to drop down the saturation to make it a nice, pleasant looking reddish color. Okay, and that's that. And again, I've done these non-destructively. There are better ways. You can do it using the adjustment panel, but I'm not going to get into that in this tutorial. We'll save that for another day. And that's it. Bye-bye.